Ladies and gentlemen, I am totally excited because today is Amateur Attack. It is Thursday. That means that we are going to have loads upon loads of amateur games tonight, and I am super excited to be here casting for you guys. For our first matchup, we are going to have a very good game because we saw these two players play on Tuesday. We are going to have B spawning as the orange Terran player in the right-hand side. That is about the 2 o'clock position. And his opponent is going to be none other than Aciespure, the teal Protoss player, spawning at the 1 o'clock. Now, in their last matchup, Pure was able to take out B with some clutch storms in this matchup. I do not quite remember what map that was on. It might have been Terminus. That is besides the point. It will be a great matchup. Now, while we're waiting for this early game to go by, I swear I switched the screen. Oh gosh, I never put the screen in. I never put the screen in the first place. That will be the problem. So here's the funny thing, guys. For the first time ever, I actually remembered to hit Alt 3, which brings you into the game. However, I did manage to forget to actually put Starcraft onto that hotkey. So now that we are actually in the game, I just want to throw out there real fast. Go to Facebook, like my new profile. I now have a coffee break page. I will talk more about that after this game, though. I also have a Reddit link that I will link to you guys for you guys to go upvote. Once again, that will be for later as we are getting into the game right now. Now, we did see a barracks first in this, so we're not going to be doing anything sort of fancy. No fancy schmancy. Quick expand. No shenanigans, really. Now, I would love to see a 1-gate expand out of Aciespure. He is very good at that and pulling a lot of probes to kill that scout. It's debatable whether that is worth it or not. It is debatable. However, we are not here to debate that now. That was his choice. Once again, I would love to see a 1-gate expand because it is so potent versus Terran. Terrans are not able to break it with concussive stim push. They aren't able to really come back with an economic build of their own. It's just kind of one of those things where they have to sit back and let it happen, really, because there's not much they can do. Now, occasionally you will see a Terran player get into that fast expand and do a little bit of damage, but rarely is it worth it. A lot of time you just have to try to do some sort of kind of a Korean play where you drop a 3rd command center in your main so that you can start pumping out additional SCVs. We do have concussive shells on the way now for our Terran player. So good against Protoss. In fact, arguably one of the most cost-effective upgrades in the game. It is only 50/50. And in the early game of TVP, it is devastating. It is devastating. So now we do have the Zealot and this probe moving down here. It looks like we will be seeing that expand. Yes indeed we will. That probe is in position, just waiting for the 400 minerals. And there we go. There we go. B is a silver Terran player. He has 198 wins on the ladder. Most of those coming in 1v1s. I'd say about 150 coming in 1v1s. And Aciespure is a platinum player whose wins I forgot. I completely forgot. Now, that was a good pullback on that probe there. You see it didn't take any damage. Got down to 5 shields and Pure with a good response time. And it looks like we might have a bit of an early push coming from B here. And he might actually be able to pick off a Stalker with that concussive shell if he just keeps it up and keeps moving it up. And that Stalker is going to fall indeed. That is actually really big. Pure cannot afford to lose those units this early on. And Warp Gate tech, not done quite yet. He probably should have used a Chrono Boost on that Warp Gate rather than on that gateway. But instead, here we have 2 Marauders and 2 Marines as well as a couple of SCVs moving up. Going to start focus firing down this Nexus. I think that maybe he should instead go up into the main base, but not too big of a deal right now as he has decided. Now these 2 SCVs could repair each other, just get a little bit of a health back. That would be an additional 30 damage that our Terran player could tank with those units. Warp Gate tech has finished as well as a second gateway. And now this Nexus is beginning to lose a little bit of hull damage. B might be able to pull off an incredible stun here. Picking out that first Stalker was insanely important, and it looks like he might be able to get this. That Nexus now in the red, now at 200 health left, and it is going to fall indeed. The Nexus has fallen in this early game, and that is so imperative. That is 400 minerals just down the drain, and Pure was even able to get a Stalker out of that engagement earlier on. Got a little bit of damage done on both these Zealots. B, with an incredible attack there, managed to get up a command center of its own and now dropping a bunker. I'm actually relatively stunned by that. I guess I'm coming back to eat my words. A quick concussive movement was able to do quite a bit of damage to Aciespure here. We do have 625 minerals to 500 lost. A little bit in favor of our Terran player. I guess it's not too big, but it is definitely annoying, as when you do that fast expand, the last thing you want to do is lose that Nexus. Now, we do have a bunker going up right here at the front of the base for B. Probably just get a couple Marauders in there, and he will be able to hold off most pushes fairly easily. Now, Pure could actually consider pushing this, especially with these 3 gateways just about to finish up. That will be 5 gates total, and a 5-gate push could do quite a bit of damage, especially if he got force fields around this bunker, which would stop the SCVs from repairing it as it was being attacked. We do have this forward pylon down now, so it looks like Pure definitely ramping up to do a little bit of pressure. That probe seeing what's going on now, and the Marauder's moving out just a little bit. He's going to want to pull those back. He's going to need every unit he can get to hold this off. There are a lot of Zealots here, and as we know, Zealots take a lot of damage. Here we go, folks. This little army moving out. The SCV did see that, but it's too late for B to really do much about it. Now, there is one force field that goes down on that bunker. Not the best force field. Does slow the Marauders down a little bit. Now, the bunker is going to fall, but will it be enough for Aciespure? Now, a lot of these Zealots are still alive. B just couldn't quite get the damage done that he needed to there. All these Zealots almost completely dead, though. I don't know if that's beautiful micro or if that's just luck on Aciespure's part, and B recognizes the need to fall back. He will likely be able to save this command center, and now we have a lot of SCVs being pulled, and all 3 barracks being built up. Now there is an engagement on the ramp here, and there is a nice force field that blocks off about half the SCVs. These Marauders getting some free shots off on the remaining Zealots, however, and one more force field to go down. And B has held this for the moment. It looks like he might get one last Zealot kill. He has indeed held this. A lot of SCVs did die on that ramp. There are 10 workers killed for Aciespure. So B in a bit of a disposition, 31 to 19 harvesters, and Pure, happy with the damage he has done, walks back home. So we had a little bit of pressure and a little bit of counter pressure in this matchup so far. And B is really going to want to, as soon as this is done, morphing into an orbital command, get this landed back down here on the low ground and try to resume mining as quickly as possible. Now, we do have 2 bunkers going down now, since obviously 1 was not enough. And I hear a scan going down. A scan, and he will, if he does click that robo, he will see the robo facility right there. We are going to be having a double forge and a Twilight Council on the way. So Aciespure deciding to play it safe. If he had pushed up this ramp, he might not have quite gotten the damage he needed to finish B off. So he decides to fall back, knowing he has the economic lead, and tech up, get some upgrades. He will be in a very good spot in the coming minutes. This command center has landed now. Mule being called down. The mules are going to be very essential in B's comeback in this game if he wants to be able to win this one. We do have a Ghost Academy on the field, as well as combat shields being researched. Charge is on the way for our Protoss player. Charge is going to be so good against this army. It really excels against these little biological armies, especially when attacking bunkers, because it allows the Zealots to come in and get the surround on the bunkers very quickly. And really, a lot of the time, it can stop the SCVs from being able to get the repair without using the force shields, just because the Zealots will have so much surface area on those bunkers. Now we have a fairly decent sized army over here for Aciespure stocking up. However, he looks to be doing sort of a day 9 move, where day 9 was talking about you don't always have to be building stuff out of these gateways. Build stuff when you need to build stuff, but in other times do things like upgrade, get tech, get, you know, like we have a robo facility, observer coming out. He doesn't know what he needs to do yet, so he gets an observer out. Now this observer is going to be taken down. I don't know if he's going to see that factory. But Aciespure just, once again, in such a lead in this game that he can really just sit back and relax for a little bit. It looks like he is gearing up to take his 3rd expansion. We have personal cloaking on the way for Ghost. That is actually an upgrade you don't see very often in PvT. I don't know exactly what B is going to be going for this. I can only hope we are going to see a nuke, because nukes are so much fun to watch. and really just so rare to watch. And if Pure doesn't have an observer on the field or at the right spot on the field when a nuke goes off, it could spell disaster. Now we do have this third Nexus on the way for Aciespure. And B is pushing out to take the center watchtower, and it looks like Aciespure more likely than not going to take out this Stalker here. And in case anybody didn't know, one Stalker beats one Marauder. One Marauder beats one Stalker. I think two Stalkers should beat one Marauder, obviously. Two Marauders, two Stalkers. Goes on. Marauders will always have the advantage when it is even numbers. B is now making his third command center as well. Not really feeling too safe to push out. He might want to consider doing some medevac drops. I know that he does have that starport down now, and a single medevac is on the way, as well as dropping a couple of bunkers, barracks, which is extremely important in this case. I think those rallied over to the mineral line for those are the SCVs rallied back to the mineral line. But I feel drops are really just the best way to get back into this game. I don't really know where the best place to drop would be. Probably just right on top of the mineral line here, as there aren't really any Artosis pylons. Artosis pylons being those pylons, one pylon or maybe two that power multiple buildings that are really essential. So there aren't really any Artosis pylons. That's one thing I've noticed about Aciespure's play. But just keeping Pure on the back foot for a little bit, maybe making him start to feel uncomfortable, would be extremely important if B wants to get back into this game. But another thing that's going to be important is upgrades. Pure is soon going to be on 2-2, which against a completely unupgraded... Oh, there is 1-1 out for the Terran player. I must have missed that. I apologize. Nonetheless, 2-2 is about to finish up, and we are going to be seeing a nuke. Oh my goodness, B, you sly dog. I wonder where he will put that down. Now, if Pure is smart, when he hears that nuke go off, he will just kind of take his army, move it to another spot, take some of his probes, move them to another spot. That's really the best way you can handle a nuke if you have no idea where it is just kind of move everything. We do have Storm on the way, as well as level 3 weapons and armor for our Protoss player, being chrono boosted out. Pure has stayed fairly low on all of his Nexus energy, which is a very, very important thing. It really just shows the caliber that Pure can play at when he so desires, that his Nexus energy is low. That's something that a lot of professional players can't do that well. We do have the Zealots and Stalkers taking out the rocks here in the middle. It looks like Pure looking to take a fourth base. B's third base just now getting up. He is definitely behind in that base race. It is 57 to 47 Harvesters in favor of Aciespure. Ghost has not moved out quite yet. Nuke is done. Ghost has full energy. And B should really... I don't know if he's thinking a defensive nuke in this point, but defensive nuke is not going to be what wins him the game. He's really going to need to do some damage, really, is what it comes down to. Now, it may look like the match is fairly even at 141 to 129 supply, but you got to remember, Pure ahead in that upgrade count, soon to be ahead in that base count, and in the right that he got his bases down earlier, he is ahead. He's ahead in his macro ability. He just has so many gateways. There's 8, there is 11. He has 11 gateways and a robo, so he can even switch to Colossus if he wants, and a warp prism on the way, just because why not at this point? Now, it looks like we will have this ghost coming in the back of the base. This is not going to be a very good nuke point, though. And, oh no, B, what are you doing? This is an awful nuke point. There's almost no harvesters here whatsoever. This ghost, very, very close to the nuke as well. These buildings won't even fall. The pylons might fall to this. And that ghost is going to die right here. No, it actually gets out with just a little bit of health. Absolutely no damage sustained whatsoever. And I mean 0. Not a single probe died. Not a building died. There weren't even building shields that got taken down. And actually this medevac gets feedbacked by the High Templar. And just dies. The High Templar, this is nice. This is something you don't see often. High Templar has not cast Storm, and it still has a kill. B now just... Oh my goodness, B is in a lot of pain at this point. 58 to 51 Harvesters. He is catching up just a little bit in that right. 3-3 for our Protoss army. 1-1 for our Terran army. And shields even starting on the way. That is something you don't see too often. Not often at all. Gold base now finished up in a massive probe transfer. That is what you want to do when you take a gold, is get as many probes from other bases that are mining minerals to start mining the gold minerals, obviously, because that will give you a higher income. We do have this warp prism coming along the bottom. It looks like we are going to be seeing a storm drop for High Templar in that. And Pure is going to have to be very careful because there is a missile turret here and a planetary fortress, so he doesn't want to lose that warp prism, and he doesn't want to lose any of those High Templar, because that could be devastating. We do have 2 more robo facilities on the way and a robo bay as well. And where is that warp prism? Here it is. Here it is. And B is actually going to be able to spot this. He's looking right at this as he did just move that SCV, so he's going to know there's a warp prism right here. And it looks like Pure is going to continue on with this anyway. B not moving to react to this. This is kind of a bad move by T. All 4 High Templar are being dropped off, and it looks like we are about to see the storms. Oh, 1 shot from Planetary Fortress, 2 shots, and oh, both those High Templar die right there. 13 more workers killed right there, and it looks like they're going to try and do some more damage, but they're all just, these 2 High Templar are just going to die once again. So I'd say that was about an even exchange. 4 High Templars are not cheap. That is 600 gas right there that is gone. However, they did get 14 SCVs, and Aciespure is already maxed out again, getting 3 Colossus at a time and extended thermal lance, which is, of course, that range upgrade, changing the Colossus range from 6 to 9. It is very important to have that upgrade, as in that right, Marauders will not be able to range on Colossus anymore. They will have to close the distance, which is just free time for the Colossus to get some shots off. B not looking too healthy in this game. Still sitting at 1-1. A lot of resources being banked for Aciespure, but what can you do when you are maxed out? He is content with just sitting back and waiting for the moment while he gets his 3 Colossi out, I think. And no, it looks like he might push instead. Now, this is a trick commonly utilized by a lot of the higher level players, is putting those High Templar inside that warp prism to speed up their movement a little bit. Now 2 coming out. Looks like they're going to push ahead. Are they going to feed back or storm? I would assume they're going to storm. And no storms yet. A couple of storms go down. 1 really good storm. So many units fall right there and are weakened as well. And here comes the units. The charge lots pouring in. Now only one bunker's loaded up, but it's not going to matter with this many units. 1 storm goes down. It's kind of in a bad spot. The second storm, much better. And the entire army is just brutalized by that storm. Everything for B fell in a matter of moments. That was a beautifully played game by Aciespure. Losing that Nexus so early on, that was a very, very tough thing to come back from. But able in the end to get that expansion back up, do a little bit of damage with this 5-gate pressure, and come back, get on 3 base, and be able to just destroy B in that battle.